Hi, Alan Stratton from Woodturns. I guess I have been a bit on a goblet kick. Last video I used green wood exploring warp with a goblet and how to turn a wood. One problem that I had to conquer was the stain here, which is the result of the interaction of the wet wood and the steel, which gives you a nice black, actually not nice black stain underneath. But I did conquer that in this one. But I decided now to extend over to dry wood and use the same technique where I'd do the foot. Now, so the process on this then typically is to chuck up a piece, turn the bowl portion, and then gradually work down the stem, and then you're left with a foot which you then have to sand or carve or what have you. I don't like doing that last because it's never as good as a turned item. So in this one I decided, okay, well, I'll turn the foot first like I did on these, and then use that as with an expansion mount in order to then work on the bowl portion. Well, frankly, as I got going in it, I reverted and hollowed out the bowl portion first, so then I had to adapt, and so that I could do the foot portion and then turn it around to do the bowl and the stem. So I guess I'll have to do another one with the correct sequence of the process. There was just an extra step on this one. But essential to turning a goblet, for me at least, is my steady. This is one that I made several years ago. It has the advantage of that I can mount it onto the lathe without having to dismount my turning piece. It keeps good lateral pressure on both sides, both a little bit up and a little bit down. So I do have a video of this in the archives, and I'll reference it also in the description. But for me, anytime I'm well away from the spindle with a thin piece of wood, I really got to use this in order to be able to take the lateral pressure that the lathe will take. So for now, let's go ahead and turn this one with a slightly off sequence of processes.
Off camera, I've roughed down this piece of dry gum between centers. Now I have marked the limits for my goblet, avoiding some bad end checks. First, I need a compression tenon for my first mount. This tenon will be too long, so I will part it halfway, then finish it on the bandsaw. Now that it is mounted in my chuck, I can get serious about turning my goblet. I intend to work the foot first, but I reverted to the typical process, that of turning the goblet portion first. The gumwood is hard. I'm using the machinist technique to drill my hole. I'm drilling first with a 3/8 inch drill, then a 1-inch Forstner bit, and then the final Forstner. This is all in line with the axis. I cannot risk any lateral pressure. Now I am mounting my steady rest so that I can put lateral pressure on this end of the wood. With a round nose scraper, I can smooth out the ledges left from the drill operations. Still, I am being careful to take light cuts. About this time, I am realizing that I messed up my plan. My plan was to turn the foot first. Oh well, I have to adapt. Since I have the bowl portion turned, I will make the best of it. Meanwhile, I will sand and apply shellac to the inside of the bowl portion. Fortunately, the wall is still a bit thick. I'm now slicing the wall down to form a new tenon, and reverse the wood again into the chuck. I started to mount the steady, but quickly realized that I need a new smooth surface for the steady wheels. With that corrected, I can remount the steady. After a bit of trimming, I can drill for the foot again with 3 sizes. While this does require 3 bit changes, it is easier to drill the large hole that I need. Then polish it off with my round nose scraper. Off camera, I sanded and applied shellac. While this is still all set up, I want to turn a little more of the foot, at least enough to know how deep my recess is so that I do not remove too much wood later. I'm using both a cushioned live center and a steady. At least at this point, I can back off the live center and feel how thick the foot wall is. However, I cannot remove too much now because I need the thick wood to safely turn the stem a bit later. I have reversed the goblet yet one more time, this time onto my long-nosed jaws with an expansion mount. However, the wall of the foot mortise is thin. Too much pressure at all, and it will crack. To prevent cracking and still provide a good grip, I installed a band clamp before expanding the jaws. The free end of the band clamp is a nasty safety risk. I have wrapped it down with duct tape. From my faceplate inventory, I found one with a shape that already was compatible with the previously finished bowl portion. That is ideal for live center pressure. Then work the bowl portion to a good shape, but keeping track of the wall thickness. Actually, I check it several times, and especially after removing all traces of a catch. Then work down the stem a bit at a time. My last goblet had an extremely thin stem. This one will be more practical and robust. Then thoroughly sand the exterior of the bowl, foot, and stem. For a little more visual interest, I cut a couple of grooves on the edge of the foot. Then I burned lines in these grooves and the transition grooves in the stem. Finally, more shellac followed by high-speed rub-down. Despite spacing a bit on my original plan, the goblet has turned out well. Usually I have to carve and sand the foot, but not this time. This process finished my goblet without any additional carving or additional sanding to finish the foot. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe on my website, and tell your friends about my videos. I appreciate your comments and questions. Every week I add a new wood turning video to my website. Always please wear your face shield anytime the lathe is running and even on these small items. A face shield saved my life and it can save yours, but only if you use it. I will see you again next week.